Welcome to the Brandon and Carlos Show, where we talk about societal issues from our experiences and perspectives. We do this having fun along the way.
Thank you for tuning in to the Brandon and Carlos Show. Well, it is our second podcast, and we are extending it to Is It Worth Dating in 2019, the Women's Edition. With us today, we have Marion, and we have Karen. Yay! All right, so could you guys tell us your relational status, please?
I am currently engaged to Brandon.
Whoop whoop.
I am single.
All right. So we're gonna jump right on in here. So the main question is it worth dating in 2019? And we're gonna go ahead and let Marion go first.
I think it's worth dating in 2019. I just think that within dating, people like to rush and not take their time to get to know each other before they it's like people think they're supposed to meet and head straight to the bedroom, and then they figure out a month or two later, I don't even like you. Instead of just taking time to get to know each other before they move to a different level.
Right. Okay.
But I do think it's definitely worth dating in 2019.
Okay. All right. Ms. Karen?
I'll say yes to that as well, because you have to, no one wants to be alone.
Right.
But there is a process. And if you've been in a long-term relationship, it didn't work out for whatever reason, you need to give yourself time to heal from that, learn from that, and grow and know what you will be willing to deal with, what you're not willing to deal with, and, set your boundaries and set your limitations and say, okay, what's a deal breaker and what's not.
All right. Okay. That takes me to my next question. All right. So, what is dating? How do you guys describe dating? What is the process of dating for you guys?
You want to answer that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, God. I think the process of dating, I think people need to understand how to date. How to date. It's not just, people, again, think you're just supposed to rush everything. Nobody wants to take their time. Nobody wants to figure out, do I like this person? Can I see myself in a long-term relationship with this person? And it's like Karen said, what are your deal breakers? What do you like? What don't you like? And I think people really should take their time to figure that out first, especially if you're older dating, because now you don't have any excuses. You're not a teenager. You're out of your 20s. You don't have an excuse to say, well, I'm still learning. You kind of, it's not that we stop learning, but I think certain things you don't just keep repeating.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Meaning you don't want to just casually date. Because I understand out here in society, you got people who just like, you know what, I'm just going to casually date, and I'm not going to date with the purpose of marriage or any type of permanent situation down the road. So what do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I think that dating initially is going to be casual because you don't know that person. Okay. So you have to get to know them to decide if that's what I want. So if that's what you consider casual dating, because I can't just say, oh, okay, me and Dave gonna go out on a date and we together. Now we serious. It's like you gotta grow there. So
what's a good time frame? So okay, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, if you go in with the mentality of I'm just going to hang out with this person, and then it develops into something,
yes,
or you going in with the mentality of I don't even want to talk to you unless we are talking about something long term.
I think going into it thinking, okay, being open-minded to say, let's see where this goes.
Okay.
Because I think I think it requires steps. You have to, initially upon sight, what we see is what attracts us. Okay, so, but is it more than that? So let me see if I can, the attraction is there. I see you. I like what you look like. But is it more to it? And I don't think it take forever to figure that out. But I think that's the initial attraction. So let's see if it's more.
Right. Okay.
Yes, because that's the first thing of even being interested in a person. You see a person, and that person, if she's a head turner or he's a head turner, it's like, oh, okay.
He was a head turner for. He was a head turner, Brandon.
He was goofy.
Okay.
He was goofy.
And I'm telling you, he had to definitely have worked, because me and Karen both, where we were a year ago, dramatic change.
Yes.
Dramatic.
Okay, so.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Well, it's not really a question, rather, would you tell us about your worst relationship?
Okay, that's fine. I'll go first. It was actually my last relationship prior to this one. I have a 5-year-old son who will be 6 this year, and his father and I were in what was supposed to have been a long-term. We were going to go from, dating to getting married, but then it turned into, I got to get myself ready. I'm not ready. And the whole thing was, he just wanted to be who he was. And, and the signs were there, but the place I was in my life, I wasn't willing to acknowledge those signs because I had just lost my mom. And so I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil with that. And it was, okay, I'm comfortable with this, even though he wasn't truly what was best for me.
Okay.
And I have a beautiful son out of that situation, but that's about all that I can say about that. In looking back, when I took that break for myself after he and I didn't work, I sat and looked retrospectively at all the things that we went through, all the things that I went through in that relationship with him, and I knew what I wasn't going to deal with anymore. And I knew I was worth more than what he portrayed. And he tried to make it seem like that I was self-involved and I always had to be seen and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, that's who I am. That's who I was before he met me. I just lost that place because, like I said, I was in an emotional whirlwind. My mom had passed away and I just didn't know, I was trying to figure out life all over again.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marion.
Let's see, mine would be, I have a 6-year-old. Her dad is probably the worst relationship I have ever been in. And I don't think I even understood the definition of a true narcissistic person and we grew up together. We lived in the same neighborhood, knew each other probably 20 years by now. But he was a very, I don't know, I don't like to think people are naturally mean, but he was just a very mean person. He's the type of guy who would be like, if his kids grew up to be, nothing, he would say, that's because your mama raised you. If they grew up to be something, he would say, oh, you have my genes. So I think, but at that time I didn't know that because we had been friends growing up. So and we never thought about a relationship. So when we got in a relationship, stuff started coming out, and it's like Karen said, you see the signs, but you ignore them because this is a person I care about, and I don't want to think that this person is really like this.
Right.
Right.
So when it comes out and when it all unfolds, it's kind of like, what just happened? Like, did the sky fall out and nobody told me? Am I being punked? But you know,
Okay.
so
So, in other words, you met the person's like representative instead of the
Yes.
true person.
yes,
All right.
yes.
And people tend to do that. They
Oh.
show you who they want you to
Oh
see.
my gosh.
And then years down, years into it,
Yes.
then you see the true person.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, like you said, like what happened? Like, is the sky falling? Be like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And just like,
And it's kind of
wow.
scary because it's
It
like,
is.
I thought that this was who you are, and then somebody else showed up.
Right.
So I'm like, wait a minute. Do I need to go in my room, lock my door, and figure out how I can get you away from me?
yeah. Or shoot you, whichever.
What about your best relationship?
Oh, I haven't had one. I haven't had one. I was either cheated on or it just didn't turn out right. But there has been a guy that I've dated. He probably was the sweetest guy I've ever known. But I don't think a man or a woman wants somebody that they don't feel like they can think for themselves. Like, because they are so in love with the thought of being in love, whatever you want to do, I want to do. Wherever you want to go, I want to go. Whatever you want to be, I want to be. I just want to be all in about you. And it's like, that's sweet. I'm not saying that that's not what people want, but I need to know that if I'm not around, you know how to make a decision. Like, you know how to do things, not just because I want to do it all the time. Like, I want you to be able to,
Just be a man and leave.
yeah. Or not. I hate to use that terminology because I can't tell you how to be a man or what a man is, but I need to feel like I'm with a man.
Gotcha.
What about you, Karen?
Such a setup question.
Yeah, such a setup. Okay, well, I'm currently in my best relationship.
You don't have to tell all the good stuff.
Yay.
You don't. We're real on this podcast.
Okay. He's a sweetheart. He is a godsend. When I will not lie, when I first saw him, I thought, wow, he's so goofy. That's what I thought. And
And it's true.
yeah, he is. He's goofy. He's
true.
still goofy. Ain't changed. But he's very genuine, and he does love me from a very pure place. It's a relationship. It's work. We have our disagreements.
Say that again.
Yeah, we have our disagreements. I mean, but it's work. And I have always, I learned, in my 30s, mid-30s somewhere, that anything worth having, you got to fight for it. And if it's something that you truly want and it's truly meant to be, because I told God there were some things in our relationship that were deal breakers for me. I didn't tell Brandon that, but I told God that. And I told God, I said, if he is truly the man for me, then you're going to have to correct the situation. And thankfully enough, he did. So I mean, like I said, we do go through our differences of opinion and my hormonal mood swings and all that different stuff, but he's a great father, to his, not only to his biological son, but to my two boys as well. And he's a great man, hardworking, couldn't ask for a better one.
Look at him. Look
Yes.
at him. All right. Actually, you kind of hit my other, three questions. So what we're gonna do is you just said deal breaker, so we're gonna go back to that. What is an absolute deal breaker for you in a relationship?
Well, with Brandon, we had to overcome this obstacle, And it was him drinking. And like I said, truthfully, he's a great man. And I could see that. And in being with Brandon, he is different from any other guy that I've ever dated. Because like I was telling Marion, I've always felt sexualized in other relationships. And he doesn't make me feel that way. And in my mind, I thought something was wrong, but it's not. It's just he's the right man for me. And
he values you more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel good because it's like I have more of a purpose. Like I'm not just a sex object. So like I said, I prayed and asked God, if this is truly the man that is to be in my life and my children's life, then, you know, he was going to have to work the situation out. And God did. And I'm so thankful for the growth of our relationship from October, right? October?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm thankful for our growth, and it has been considerable growth. And I couldn't be happier.
And to our listening audience, one day we're going to be viewing. But to our listening audience, if you want to know more about what Karen is speaking about as it relates to my drinking problem, you can go to our Facebook page. It's uploaded there. And even on our Anchor page, it's entitled Episode 1 Extended Edition. But to you, Marion, what do you look for in a man?
Patience and active listening is a big thing for me. Because people think they're listening and they're not, myself included. Like, I don't care how many questions you gotta ask me to make sure we have a clear understanding. That's a big thing for me. Like, I need you to be patient. I'm slow moving. I don't rush. I have learned my lesson from that. So patience. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty patient myself. So, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, what did you look for in a man? Since you got one.
Truthfully, someone who is able to lead. And I mean, not in just being able to tell me, you know, oh, we need to do this. Leading, you lead by example. And some days we don't all get it, you know, we don't always get it right all the time, but you need to be a true leader. And I told Brandon this, you can't lead from behind. You can't lead in the back. You can't be the leader and you're sitting on the back row. So being a leader and a provider are two really big things for me. And he's very caring.
Real quick, providers, that just financially? What other things outside of finances?
A provider is a person who it's more than financial. You have I need emotional stability. I need you to just be, sometimes just be there. Just being there and just listening makes a total difference. I told him earlier, these last couple of days, I've been dealing with emotional turmoil, for lack of a better word. And he, bless his heart, as men, y'all don't understand us women and our emotional mood swings all the time. But
Amen.
But
y'all have them too now.
Yes.
Y'all have them too.
You do.
Y'all just show them differently.
Right.
If my team ain't winning, yes.
Whatever. It's more to it than your team not winning. But he's been patient with me and my mood swings. So.
All right. Now we didn't get your deal breakers. What are your deal breakers?
Let's see. A deal breaker for me is kind of the same thing I just said. Like I if you have to beat on your chest or we arguing every day and we can't see eye to eye, that compromise and that listening and that communication. Like if we can't do that, then what we doing?
Okay. All right.
Now, Marion, I know you said you're single.
Yes.
But if perhaps that man is listening out there, well, let me ask you this, and maybe you've said it, and if you have, please forgive me. But are you looking for someone?
Well, I don't think we're really supposed to be looking.
Okay.
But presentable, maybe. You know, if because I had two best friends that get on to me because they be like, you need to do something with yourself. I'm a jean t-shirt person. So they be like, Marion, how you gonna be with somebody or find somebody and you don't get dressed up? So I'm learning that maybe I need to be a little more presentable, maybe.
And that's relative because...
See, I don't think so. I like, you take me as I am.
And that's my thing, because when I met him, or when he inquired about me, I had on a jean skirt and a t-shirt, no makeup. I did wash my face, and I did take a shower. So, I mean, for me, that was presentable, because the day that I had to go and rehearse that song, I was not feeling my best. And so I didn't even want to go. Like, I was over here like, okay, why I gotta even be bothered with this? But I went, and unbeknown, you never know who's looking, and for some reason it's always you're not on your quote unquote A game when someone is looking. So
that's because that's the raw y'all. We get to see what's underneath, the weaves and the makeup and the whatnot. If you got weaves.
I mean, hey,
teach his own.
And see, my best friends too, they are the type of people who they get up and put on makeup to go to the grocery store. I'm not doing all. I'm going to get me.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna put on something presentable, but do I really need to do all that?
Right. I'm not gonna go in my bonnet.
No.
We're not going in our bonnet and our house clothes, in our house slippers or whatever. But I'm like you on that note. I'm not gonna put on makeup just to go to the grocery store.
And I'm coming right back home. I'm trying to do better, y'all, but I'm coming right back home.
Okay.
Now, this is on our page. If you are not a subscriber to our Facebook page, you can go to, you put in a search field, The Brandon and Carlos Show. But we put on the page for people to answer this question. It is, if a man pays half of the bills, can he still be called a provider?
That's a roommate.
Well, okay. I agree but disagree. I think in any relationship, y'all have to have an understanding in every aspect, whether it be financial, spiritual. Yes, most women, especially if you kind of traditional, you want the man to be the head of the house. But I think that's where you got that communication, that compromise. Now I will say though, I have a problem with two people home. I have a problem with a two people home that cannot maintain. If there are two of us in that home, we should be able to handle basic needs: rent, lights, garbage, water. The extra is nice, but we need to at least be able to handle that, because I have two people households that sometimes be like, Marion, can you help? I don't have a problem with helping, but if it's like an all the time thing, it's like that's. And in fairness, in all fairness to myself, if I had somebody and we have them problems, I would have a problem with that, because even if I could just maintain my basic needs, then if we together, we should be able to at least do that.
Okay.
Karen, you said that's a roommate. Would you elaborate?
I guess it really does depend on the situation. And I have known people that have lived in a quote unquote roommate status. All they do, they live together, they split bills. He got one room, she got another room. They're not, I mean, truthfully, if you're in a relationship and you're in, and I'm like Marion, it's a two-person home, you should be able to maintain your basic needs without needing outside help. Am I saying a woman shouldn't do anything? Nope, I'm not saying that. Now, mind you, if the man chooses for her not to work outside the home, he should come home to a clean house, dinner, and his bath ran, if that's the case. Because truthfully, if he's going out to provide financially for the household, then you have to hold up your end of the bargain. Same token, if both of them work outside the household, then when they come home, the burden of the house should not be on her solely.
Or on one person.
Right. Or him solely.
Because it's
right.
vice versa too.
Right.
Like I feel like if the man for whatever reason is not working, then why if we going to work and I come home and the house a mess and you wait for me to clean it up and you've been here all day, that's a problem.
It is a problem. And I know what Chris Rock's clip said. I listened to that clip and I heard it, and yes, the older women, our grandmothers and mamas, yeah, they're a stickler for that. That, how did he put it? A broke hand.
Yeah, a broke hand.
It's like a broke man.
Yeah, it's like a broke hand.
Okay, yeah. But at the same token, if this, God forbid, if he gets sick, things happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can't say that a man that has taken care of me, the way that a husband should, that I'm going to just, oh, no, now that you down and can't do, I'm kicking you to the curb. Yeah. That's not how that works.
Right.
Because your vows say in sickness and in health. And regardless of what, you should, if you all should have each other's back. Mm-hmm. If nothing, you should have each other's back. It shouldn't be, relationships should not be one-sided. Yeah. And if you're finding where they are, then it's not the right relationship.
Mm-hmm. All right. So last question. We also alluded to the Aisha Curry situation. Mm-hmm. I want to hear you guys' take on that.
I think everybody took that way too far. I don't think that she was saying there's anything wrong in her relationship with her husband and his ability to do anything. I think she was sharing an insecurity that most women have, and I think some men probably have it too. And I think we took it and ran with it. I don't think she was trying to say anything derogatory about her husband. And I don't think she was trying to say, I want to be, have all these people in my DM trying to get at me. I don't think she was saying that. I think she was just saying, as women, sometimes, just like men, I'm assuming, would want to feel like I want to be wanted. And when with her husband being who he is and he's getting all of this attention, she was just sharing that this is one of my insecurities. And I think we took it and just completely blasted it out the water. Okay. Like I saw some of the comments and some of the women were like, you should keep that to yourself. You should, you shouldn't put your man on blast like that. And I'm like, she didn't do any of that.
What do you think?
I'm gonna agree with Marion, because as a person, yes, your husband may tell you every day how beautiful you are, how much he loves you, but there are times when, again, when I know as women, we go through, these emotional things, and it's not the fact she's not getting what she needs at home. Yeah. It's just You want
feel
somebody
like
else to look at you
wanna feel
besides
desired.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's normal, I think, because hey, I'm still breathing. I mean, because people, just because you're married does not, you're not dead.
Right.
I mean, that's human nature. We look, we people watch, we see, we're visual beings. And so therefore, just because I see a guy, with a six pack or whatever, just because you don't mean I want to go jump in the bed with him.
Right.
It's just, oh, okay.
Well, that's it on our time. We'd like to thank you all, Karen.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Marion, for being our guest on the show, the Brandon and Carlos Show. That's it, you all. Please go and find us on Facebook. You can put in your search field, the Brandon and Carlos. You can put in the search field, the Brandon and Carlos Show, and get our information on how to listen. Well, obviously, if you're listening, you know how to listen. But that's it. Thank you all. So, just real quickly, yes or no, is it worth dating in 2019? Marion?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.